Kapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail heroic. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember the 50 waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important news are new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, it's gonna be under one roof. You're gonna run it like a business. That means you're gonna make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello. Is this on? Ah, fuck. Hello, world. It's Birdo Prey 5, Kapla. It's 4:02. 4:02. It was 3:56 when I looked at the clock. It was only a minute ago. I guess I've gone through some sort of wormhole that brought me 7 minutes into the future and knocked me out. Yes, it's quite possible that when you go through small wormholes, you are knocked out. We've seen this on screen. It's just a fact. Clearly, I didn't fall asleep. It is due to some sort of localized wormhole in the Bayside area. I'm guessing there's probably hashtag wormhole trending right now on Twitter or something, but I'm okay. I'm okay. We're safe. We're safe. Let's start again, shall we? Hello world, it's Berto Pray 5 Cupla, and welcome to Bed Life for Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 16th, 2023. Martin Luther King Jr. Day for a decade. A very special holiday. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we learned about Martin Luther King Jr. in school, and he was a great visionary, and I feel like he would cry today if he saw the situation that we were in as a country and how we went right by his hope of judging people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin, as if they were just words that meant nothing when they meant everything. But for other reasons, not particularly important, but important to me, Martin Luther King Jr. Day was a special day for me, and I'll get to that. But let's first say hello to everybody in the chat. Not Ryan Johnson says hello in Kapla. Hail Karoga, and Kapla. Professor Brainy Specs says, when will it end? Late again. That was at 1:40 p.m., mind you. 2 hours and 20 minutes before I went live. Richie Poole says, dear Bob, welcome, Richie. Moxley fan says, hello to you all. Kapla, Moxley. Kronos says, Bird forced me to be here. That's just simply not true. And Kronos says, hey to the derps. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hey to Kronos. Captain, I could have sworn I saw you had a stream set up this morning, but then when I went to look for it, it was gone. Maybe I dreamed it. I honestly don't know. Kronos says, hey, Fandom, and Bird will be late, I say. I don't think I was. Well, except for the wormhole. Not Ryan Johnson says, Bird of Prey is only late on days that end in Y. To be fair, that is technically true. Now, he doesn't say that I'm only late, that I'm never, well, he does say. Yes, it's technically true. I'm only late on days that end in Y. But what's not true is that I'm always late in days that end in Y. Big difference. Captain Phantom Nerd says, Kronos, I doubt Bird will be late, and thank you, Captain. Your doubt was correct. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings. Mike Richards, official package inspector of Karoga. Kronos says, that's every day, son of a bitch, and hey to Mike. Moxie fan says, Kapla Bird, happy MLK Day. Hope you and the family are doing well today. Thank you, Moxley. And Moxley says, hello to you all. Mike Richards is MLK. I have a dream. Bird of Prey. I had a dream last night. Well, those are true things. I did have a dream last night. It's a sad dream, but we don't have to go into it now. John Aragi says, give Bird some slack. His favorite lady governor is taking away his gas stove. You know, as somebody who's for small government and somebody who has gas appliances and definitely does not want an electric stove, because then that's just another thing that's dependent on the power grid, which I feel will fail us in the not too distant future. There's a part of me, a cynical part of me, who looks at the deadly power of gas and the increasingly stupid, low intelligence of my fellow man. And I realize, especially in a city like New York, where you've got, buildings holding hundreds, if not thousands of people, it only takes one idiot to leave the gas on accidentally, and a candle in a bedroom somewhere, and kaboom! Yeah, Bob will pray would outlaw candles first. We're already on borrowed time. Okay, I hardly a season goes by. I mean, it's more than a month, but I'd say hardly 4 months, hardly a quarter goes by where we don't hear a story of a house blowing up, just blowing up because of natural gas leak or something. Okay, when we grew up, when we were growing up, we were in Florida and we had left our beagle home, Princess at the time. And we had family coming to feed her and walk her and whatnot. She was happy, don't get me wrong. It's not that she wasn't a happy dog, but she didn't come with us on vacation. And my uncle, God bless him, came into the house and smelled the natural gas, and rather than run and call the fire department, which is probably what he technically should have done, he went into the house and found the source, and the kitchen sink had been on, but the stove had been turned on because the beagle had jumped up on the stove looking for food and turned the knob. But in the 80s, the electric starter was on the fritz, so most of the time it wouldn't actually ignite the gas, and you had to light it manually with a barbecue lighter to get the gas running. And so the dog had gone up looking for food, turned the knob to like medium or high, and it never ignited, and it just filled the house with gas. And Jesus Christ, had he not decided to go check on her at that time, another hour or another day, God knows what would have happened. It certainly would have been bad for the dog. It probably would have been bad for the whole fucking neighborhood. We were in Florida, I mean, but, only if by the grace of God and my uncle did he, and the fact that he didn't smoke, Jesus Christ. If he had smoked, if he had gone to the house with a lit cigarette, who knows? So only since then, I mean, the public has gotten less intelligent. So we're already, it's like we're waiting for the big one. California is waiting for the big earthquake. The people near Yellowstone are waiting for the super eruption. I'm just waiting for the intersection of the lower IQ and the rise in natural gas to intersect and cause just massive explosions all over the place. Like every day, there's going to just be another bomb go off. So I get our politicians want to take natural gas away from the citizenry. And I'm honestly not even sure it's a bad idea. And that pains me. It pains me as somebody who likes freedom to say, you know what? Maybe it's not the worst idea to take natural gas appliances away from the people. We, the people, really don't deserve it. Because it's clear by who we voted for. We're just not that smart. Unless who we voted for isn't exactly who we got, which is also possible. But it seems like for enough people, they don't care enough to fight it. So again, I have to wonder, were they really that smart? But thank you, number 205, who donated $2.49. Says skin color is important. If mine is blue, I am cold. If it is red, I was out in the sun too long. And if it is black, I am being cremated. Nevertheless, 205, I judge you by the content of your character and not the color of your skin. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movie says Kapla, Mr. Londell. Chrono says, what is Mr. Batleth dude? What is a Mr. Batleth dude? I've never heard of Batleth dude, Kronos. And he says, no, Bird loves AOC. I don't love AOC. I'm just saying she's not that ugly. Kronos says she at least has a nice Latina bootay. This is true. Kronos says Bird is later taters. I wasn't late. Yvette says good evening, Bird, and everyone. Good evening, Yvette. And Kronos asks, what are you cooking? Gorilla's Random Thought says, hey, lurking while lurking. Kapla, Gorilla. Kronos didn't whip out his slug today. Oh, wow. TMI. Yvette made steak and kidney pie. I can picture the steak, but the kidney? Chrono says, are kidneys any good? I can't imagine they are, Chronos. And imagine if you got a kidney with a stone in it. It's unhatched Karoganite. And Chronos has never had haggis either. That's fair. Neither have I, and I never intend to. Moxley fan says, we, the people. Moxley fan, we the people. We the people leave a lot to be desired. Chronos says, I'm a wee bit Scottish, I guess. Oh, you're a wee bit Scottish. Are you wearing a kilt? Yvette doesn't like them. Then why are you making kidney? I get maybe for mom. Bradley Briggs says, zup, y'all. Zup, Bradley. Chrono says, hey to Nicole and hey to Briggs. Miss Londell says, wakey. Moxley fan, question mark. John DeMarco says, greetings all. Chrono says, hello world, question mark. Arabic Saunders says, Kapla, Berto Pray, Kapla, and live long and prosper, Arabic. I had to really practice yesterday on a question of Trek, the Deep Space Nine episode. They were doing their live long and prosper. Everybody was doing it. It's. I'm getting pretty decent at it. In the old days, I used to have to fake it by just doing the fingers that way and like putting my hand offset. But now, if I really, really try hard, I can just about do it. Bradley says bird pretending to be asleep. Mama Pray can do it. Which fingers? Your pinky and the finger next to it. Yeah, Mama Pray is really good at it. Bird is sweepy, says Kronos. Syphilis says hello, friends. Hello, Syphilis. Arabic Sander says, hey. No, it's not a stroke, LDG. Yvette says, hey, to Arabic. Words and pictures is laughing at the sleeping. And LDG says, bird, are you okay? Moxie fan says, and anyone home. Mike Richards says, let sleeping birds lie. You know, the problem was this morning I got woken up by nephew O'Prey. He knows how to call the cell phone now, but he doesn't know how to, like, he does it just to have fun. He doesn't actually have any intention of having a call. So I woke up, actually Mom O'Prey and I both woke up this morning because he called the Facebook group that had both of us in and tried to start an audio call. And we leave our phones on just in case there's an emergency with Sis O'Prey. We leave our phones on and woke us both up this morning. Kronos says, where is Mom O'Prey? She is nearby, Kronos. Kronos says, great show, lol. John Araki is a little sleepy now, too. John DeMarco says it's still better than watching Discovery. Kronos says, this is awesome. Bradley Briggs is laughing. LDG yells hello as if the all caps he's using will somehow translate to a loud noise to wake me up. Kronos says, welcome back. LDG says, doing it live. Kronos says, hey to LDG. Bradley Briggs says, one of them really long blinks. Time just zooms by. One of them really long blinks. Time just zooms by. Sizzler says, it sounds like he's using a different mic or something. Does the audio sound different? I have to test that now. Testing. That is a little different, isn't it? That is a little different. Is it possible? Settings, God damn it. Bring up the settings. Audio, microphone, crisp microphone. No, it's the regular mic. Okay. Maybe I just a little far away from it. Okay. Chrono says Monday. Nah, that's not Sunday. John Araki says, someone check Sleepy Joe's garage for classified documents. Oh, if you saw my garage, you would not be surprised to find classified documents. I'm sure there are some. Yeah, Mom O'Prey agrees. Yvette had nothing to do with the miniature wormhole. I don't know if I can believe that. Kronos blames the sun. Yvette has a wormhole. Nice, says Kronos. John Araki says, I judge people by the content of their browser history. Uh-oh. That's not good. Bradley Briggs says, the statue they recently put up is just 4 arms hugging each other. I saw that. I thought it was a joke. I thought this was a joke. Like, what is this? The Babylon Bee? No. What a ridiculous waste of money. Okay. I know that art is in the eye of the beholder, but that's not art. That's not art. Sizzler says it's Tuesday here. On Monday, I had police care, most maybe something else, care, come to my apartment, as well as a CAT scan, and picked up some meds from the chemist. Oh, you had a busy day, says the list. And Kronos just erased his browser history. Palliative care. Gotcha, palliative care. Come to your apartment. Kronos is bird of prey, wacky eggs and bakery. I'm hearing eggs are getting expensive these days. You don't want to be whacking your eggs. Sidla says, is that a Star Trek question show on every week? Most weeks, a question of Trek is on at 4:30 Eastern Time on Sundays on a channel called Question of Trek. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll generally get, notifications when they go live. But it's always right around 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Sundays in New York time. Whatever that's for you, obviously that's already Monday for you. So yeah, if it's Tuesday for you now, then it's Monday for you, sometime Monday. Next week is an all Star Trek Voyager. The last week they did all Star Trek The Next Generation. This one I just did was Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And next week is all Voyager. Then I think they're doing all Enterprise. And then for some reason, I think they're doing Discovery, which is just ridiculous, especially when they didn't do an all TOS that I'm, at least not as far as I'm aware. Kronos says, wakey, don't wake off to bacon. I don't think wake off is what you meant. Sizzler says the one bird was on yesterday. Yeah, it comes on most weeks. For a month or so, they changed it to Doctor Who for a while. So I stopped going over there because I'm just not a Doctor Who fan. And nothing is going to fix that. But otherwise, when they do Star Trek, it is quite entertaining. Words and pictures has got Bird. Good to see you. Good to be here. Good to see you here too. Words and pictures. Sci-Fi Nations is greetings, Bird o' Prey, Mom o' Prey, Sassy o' Prey, and fellow nerds. All hail glorious Karoga, and of course the God Emperor, Bird o' Prey 5. Thank you so much, Sci-Fi Nation. I hope you are doing well. And I hope your new job is continuing to do well. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz is Kapla, Bird of Prey. I am here of my own free will. Is free will allowed under the Constitution and the kingdom of Karoga? Well, first, Karoga is not a kingdom. It is an armed republic. But yes, free will is allowed. And further, it is my sincere belief that if you believe in free will, and I do, and this isn't a joke, this is a serious form of philosophy of mine. If you believe in free will, then you have to admit, on some level, the human brain is able to alter the physical universe. Maybe it's something to do with quantum dynamics. Maybe it's something more basic. Maybe it's something powerful, something we don't know. Maybe it involves the soul. But for whatever reason, if I truly believe I have free will and I, can choose whether I want to paint my house red or if I want to paint my house blue, then that is being stored in my brain. And for that to be stored in my brain, something in my brain has to be able to manipulate the very physical building blocks of nature. Okay, whether they're atoms or molecules or even smaller, even if it's smaller than atoms, maybe it's just quarks or electrons or some feature that we have access to edit that lets us create memories and make decisions. That's what happens. That the human brain has the power to physically alter physical matter, even if only within the content of our own brain. But who's to say that if we can affect the matter within our own brain, who's to say we can't affect matter somewhere else in the room or the galaxy? Like, is there a limit? Is there a distance? Maybe Mama Bray says in your legs or in somebody else's legs. Who knows?
Stop, it hurts.
Professor Brainy Specs uses his 22 months as a Kurogan citizen super chat to say, you are not a Doctor Who fan. I now know what is wrong with you. I have never hidden the fact that I am not a Doctor Who fan. And executive producer Saul Leibowitz is out there, but erased his message. Here's executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, Kapla Bird, I am here of my own free will. I just read it. Sci-Fi Nation says, Bird of Prey, pretty sure MGA is gaslighting you about the future of gas appliances. MGA. Oh, MAGA. Pretty sure MAGA is gaslighting me. I mean, I Googled it. I do seem to see that they really do want to ban gas appliances. Granted, they're not going to come pull the stove out of my house, but they're seriously considering that by 2030, which is only 7 years away, that you will not be able to purchase a gas stove. So at that point, if something were to happen to my stove, it would have to be replaced with electric. Now, what does that mean? Well, as long as nothing happens to my stove, it's fine. But one day my stove will break, and then I'll have to put in a new electrical line to support a more expensive electric stove. Now, the electric stove will probably be better than my gas stove. I get it. I have more features. It would cook better, heat up faster. It has all the bells and whistles, and probably be connected to the frickin' internet. Not that I want it to be, but it probably would be. And in all ways be superior to gas, but it should be my choice. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. Chrono says, hey to Mamo Pray. Bradley Briggs says, electric anything isn't better than versions that burn oil or gas if the electricity that powers them comes from oil or gas. Well, yeah, yes and no. I see what you're saying, Bradley. Technically, though, it is probably more efficient to create the electricity than to do the conversion in our homes ourselves. But it's not, to me, it's not about that. It's, even if it was more efficient, that doesn't mean that just because something's more efficient, it doesn't mean we shouldn't have choice. Because there are a lot of things that are more efficient than other things, but you know, that's no reason that one becomes outlawed, right? Sci-Fi Nation says, Mamo Pray, not Florida. I don't know what Florida is thinking of doing. Kronos says, Bird of Prey, are you smelling AOC again? I hope not. Sci-Fi Nation says, smells like tacos and tequila. Yummy. Kronos could use the tacos and tequila without AOC. Miss Lindell's Groovy Movies says gas leaks are the result of infrastructure breakdowns. The power grid is probably in worse condition than gas lines. It is for now. John DeMarco says it would even have been bad for the whales. Kronos says, are crabs considered fish? Eat beans, save on gas, says LDG. The Random Menace is greetings from the future, and Fook Zoidberg, I wanted Dax. I know you did, Random Menace, but the odds are what they are. Kronos says, I don't like super volcanoes. Neither do I, Kronos. Neither do I. John Araki says, confirm the Opry family blames the gas on the dog. That is not true. Sci-Fi Nation says Krakatoa. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Krakatoa scares me. You don't want a Krakatoa happening within 1,000 miles and any second with no warning. A giant sound wave, pressure wave could just boom right through the house, destroying all the glass, rupturing your eardrums, puncturing our lungs, and just, for all practical purposes, ending civilization as we know it. You know, and then a few hours later, the 2-kilometer tall mega tsunami comes on shore. Mago says natural gas is the real enemy. I agree, Bird. It's not the enemy. It's just a weapon, or maybe not even a weapon. It's a power that we are not disciplined enough as a species to wield any longer. We used to be. We used to be disciplined enough. But, you know, when you have years of relative peace, you find out that the people that grow up just kind of get weaker and weaker and weaker. And at some point, you're no longer capable of maintaining the technology that, frankly, greater people than you pioneered. Sci-Fi Nation says Sassy O'Prey had too many beautiful beans, confirmed. Sassy might have had a little too much cheese. Kronos loves gas stoves. John DeMarco says we clearly need to return to wood-burning stoves. You know, you say that like a joke, but there's a good part of me that does think we'd be better off. Miss Lindell's Groovy Movies says when snow and ice storms hit and the power grid goes down, how are you going to keep warm and keep your pipes from freezing? Exactly. Exactly. Wood-burning stoves and steam engines, says Mako. Bradley Briggs says in outhouses, those are safer too. Well, let's not get crazy. Sci-Fi Nations is Bird. Does Mama Pray remember city gas versus natural gas? Just wondering. It might be before her time. She has no idea.
Growing up in Brooklyn.
Growing up in Brooklyn, they had natural gas.
It was Brooklyn Union Gas Company.
Brooklyn Union Gas Company.
The only thing that it powered in the house was the stove
And
and the dryer.
the only thing it powered in the house was a stove and the dryer. But in my house now, I tell you, my furnace for heat is on gas. My water heater is gas. My dryer is gas. My stove and oven, upstairs and downstairs, are gas. And my all-important house electrical generator, if God forbid the power goes out, is also natural gas. So, yeah, we need a lot of natural gas, or at least I depend on it. The Random Menace is electric stoves with your 110 must suck. Mine is 400-volt induction. 1 liter water boiling in under 1 minute. Well, when we do electric stoves, we use the full 220 volts that come into our house. So that's why you need an extra special power line to charge it. Chrono says, I have, not to charge it, to power it. Chrono says, I have my kidneys, 2 of them. If you say so, Chronos. Sci-Fi Nation says, aren't kidneys full of piss and vinegar? If you say so. I really don't know. Chronos says, does Mama Pray like kilts? I don't think Mama Pray wears kilts.
Kilts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Captain Phantom Nerd says hello to Aravic. Chronos is Pinky on the brain. Chronos says, are you sniffing your own smugness? No, Chronos, I'm not smug. Like that Nirvana song. Chronos says he can't watch Discovery, aka Fake Track. The Random Menace says mom did Wordle in 1 again. Yeah, I hear. She's quite good at that. Chronos is Bird of Prey. You don't need audio if you're Sweepies. And Chronos doesn't like Wordle. It makes you think. Yeah, unfortunately, I already did Wordle today. I forgot it was Monday. So no Wordle. No Wordle on the stream today. I got it in 5. For those interested, I got it in 5. No, I didn't know the definition of it, but I got it in 5. Bradley Briggs says the commercial for the game, she does make her look like even more of a jerk. They just dove right into that part of her personality. In the commercial for the game, what game? Who are we talking about? Bradley Briggs. Bradley Briggs is, I don't know. I'm not sure who Bradley's talking about. See, you said the outhouses are safer. Chronos says, can I make a wormhole joke? You can do whatever you want, Chronos. Mike Richards is 42, the answer to everything. Professor Brainy Spec says, kapla, Professor. Professor's Bird of Prey. I was just at Walmart and spent $130 for items that probably would have cost me $80 this time last year. I'm so sorry to hear that, Professor. Professors with Bird of Prey, you are not a Doctor Who fan. I now know what's wrong with you. And then you went ahead and used your 22-month super chat to say the same thing again. Thank you, Professor. Corona says, I don't know what Dr. Howe is. and I have a free will. Mako says, I don't understand, where does this free will debate come from? It comes from my own free will, Mako. Or does it? Sisso Prey just messaged me. So one of my favorite, let me see if I can get it. Copy. God damn it. Why does it not offer me a copy option? Okay. So one of my favorite Twitter, yeah, it's Sisso Prey. One of my favorite Twitter accounts, as many of you know, is Beagle Facts on Twitter. So I sent this to Sisso Prey because she has this. Puppy fever is characterized by intrusive thoughts about adding multiple beagle puppies to one's household. Even the strongest human can succumb to this condition. Hashtag Beagle Facts. And it's got a picture of a little beagle baby puppy sleeping with his beagle baby mama. Very cute. Super cute. Incredibly cute little baby beagle puppy. So I sent this to Sisso Prey. And Sisso Prey wrote back, you see, I have a medical condition. I am not responsible if I send you a box of puppies. Because Sisso Prey has threatened for years and years and years that she was going to send me more beagle puppies. So I wrote to Sisso Prey that I was pretty sure she was vaccinated against puppy fever as a baby. And she wrote back just now, nope, Dr. Dolan thought I had it, so he didn't vaccinate me. Dr. Dolan being our childhood doctor. And then she sent a GIF of hundreds, maybe, dozens, several dozen beagle puppies coming out of the back of the trunk of a car. And unfortunately, I just can't figure out how to share this GIF with you guys. Otherwise I would.
But she has her house.
Yeah, Sisso Prey has her own house, of course. She could get as many beagle puppies as she wants, but the whole point is she doesn't want to keep the puppies. She wants me to have the puppies so she can visit the puppies when she visits. Yeah. So that's what was distracting me. Sorry about that. Of course, we do not want Sisso Prey nor anyone to send us any additional puppies or animals of any kind. We have reached our capacity. Hashtag no more puppies for Bird. Hashtag no more animals for Bird. Bruno says, can you have a free while sweepies? If you can have free will while sleeping, yes, if that's the question. Mike Richards says, this is Kurogan Philosophy 101. Kronos is questioning my existence of electrocons. If that is a fundamental particle that I mentioned, then it must be true. Yvette is talking about telekinesis, the brain affecting matter. Yes. So everybody's brain is effectively capable of some form of telekinesis. Chrono says, I like the distance. I'm going for speed. And Kronos yells, hey to Mama Pray. Mike Richards says, and then Bird conjured up a cheeseburger. If I could conjure up something, Mike Richards, it wouldn't be a cheeseburger. I can get those delivered easy enough. Gorilla's Random Thought says, oops, a little behind. Time to activate 2x speed, aka chipmunk mode. Not for me. It's not chipmunk mode. Dan Ben says, hi. Welcome, Dan Ben. Whoville greater than Doctor Who, says Stan Lee. Probably, although I don't watch Whoville either. Kronos would like a bacon double cheeseburger, and now we're talking. James Caserta, Kapla, James, says, hi, Bird of Prey. I just subscribed yesterday. Thank you so much for subscribing, James. I hope I haven't bored you to death. Chrono says, hey to Caserta, and he'll be glass in 7 years. Stanley says, such pointless, silly things to enact. The Random Menace says, there should be a Doctor Who spin-off, Doctor What and Nurse Where. Dr. What and Nurse Where. Hello, Nurse, says Kronos. JP says it means the commie bastards are coming for your stove over my cold, dead hands, which would probably be true if my stove stops. Stan Lee says, I hate my electric range. It's one of those glass tops and gets stained every time I fry anything. And when boiling water, the thing will turn off the heat. Son of a bitch. James Caserta says, heated sidewalks. There was, when I went to college at Hofstra, from in the main campus area, there was, for obviously the entire time I was there, every winter was a very snowy winter. It's New York, we often have snow. But the steam pipes that went from building to building, you could follow them, especially when they crossed the quad, because there would be no snow. I mean, you could have 3 feet of snow blanketing the campus, but where the steam pipes were, I don't know, a few feet underground, maybe 3 feet underground, it would go, the snow would get less and less and less, and you would have green grass, literally green grass in the middle of winter, because the steam pipes are underneath the ground, keeping the ground just warm enough to stop the ice and the snow from forming. So the snow would just melt into water, it would go into the ground and, find its way, I guess, down into the dirt deep enough that it didn't freeze. And I often wondered, I was like, I wonder what it would cost if I was to ever build a house from scratch, to just run some steam pipes underneath the sidewalk so you'd never have to shovel again come winter. You would just keep the ground just warm enough not to freeze. And I'm sure other people have had those ideas. And then you think, well, if we could do it to the sidewalks, we could do it to the streets. Then you wouldn't need salt or plows. Of course, everything we do would warm the earth. I mean, you're literally warming the earth, regardless of how carbon neutral, even if the electricity is being generated by wind power alone, you're still physically warming the earth. Yvette says, what about gas boilers? Every home here in the UK, bar 5%, use gas boilers to power their central heating. Well, the gas boilers, I guess they would still allow for now, but I'm sure the long-term plan is to get rid of those two. Professor Brainy Specs says, Bird, you are sadly mistaken. Gas stoves are far superior to electric ones. Okay. I've talked with professional chefs, and I know that it is a debatable topic. Okay. I know professional chefs who will go to their grave saying electric stoves are better. And I know professional chefs who will go to their grave saying gas stoves are better. I'm clearly decided that there is no correct answer as to which is better. Is there a which is safer? Absolutely. Okay. As an engineer, I am 100% sure the electric stove is safer. But I don't care. I don't care for now. When it gets to the point that society is too dumb to be trusted with gas, then I guess we're going to have to get rid of gas. Kronos says some peeps can't even boil water. That's true enough. JP says gas is better for cooking. Like I said, it's certainly debatable. Stanley says, are they doing away with gas clothes dryers, gas barbecues, etc.? For right now, the main thing is the gas oven. Then I'm sure it will be the gas dryers, the gas furnaces, and the gas barbecue grills. I mean, technically, a barbecue, what we call a barbecue in New York, you know, in the South would just be called a grill. Barbecue is barbecue. But yeah, in New York, we call anything we cook outside with is basically a barbecue. Kronos is better than New York. Dan Ben says we should have all 7 of 9 then. I don't know what that means. Stanley says the JPs figure out there might be some reason that I've never seen a single professional kitchen that doesn't use a gas range. I've seen both. I've seen both kitchens. As someone smartly pointed out, but deep fat fryers are fine. Stanley says they bet more people hurt themselves with boiling oil than accidents from gas stoves. It's not that how people hurt themselves, it's that the way they hurt themselves. Okay, if you pour or stick your hand in boiling oil, that's awful, but you're an idiot. If you get sick because of invisible particles being emitted by a gas stove that you didn't even know exists, and it causes you to have sickness as a child, that's not your fault in any way, shape, or form. But I know it's not about that. It's about not wanting to see houses and apartment buildings start blowing themselves up in the not too distant future. The random menace is the ratio for producing electricity from gas is 2 to 1. You need 2 kilowatts of gas for 1 kilowatt of electricity. A random menace, I don't know where you heard that. Maybe that's a guess, but I am sure, number one, that it's a bit different than that. And even if it's true today, that's not necessarily true forever. Kronos says Kroger has a super volcano. Stanley says just have to move my outdoor propane grill to the kitchen. Bad idea, Stanley. An outdoor grill is designed, it basically, it makes more carbon monoxide than an indoor grill. If you use an outdoor grill inside, you probably will poison yourself. Okay, there is almost no chance an outdoor grill is safe enough to use inside. You would get sick from the fumes. That's like why you can't use a an outdoor generator indoors. Yvette says gas stoves are instant heat. Electric takes time to heat up, which I'd worse for the environment, uses larger footprint than gas, even if it's green energy. Yvette, I've seen electric. I mean, you've got electric induction technology that heats up almost instantly and is more conductive than the gas. You know, because the gas has to first heat the metal pot. Whereas if it's inductive, the metal pot starts heating instantly. So it's not as simple as that. Kronos has used both. Then I'm sure you can see that there are benefits to both. Okay, we gotta get a little quicker. Jedi Bill says Kapla, Berto, Pray 5, Hail Karoga, Hail Jedi Bill. Random Menace actually likes grilled food. He could do it all year long. So could I. Kronos could use some barbecue. Stanley says, Bird, you don't have a diesel or petrol generator as well. No, I do not. It's only natural gas generator. Where do you get the natural gas? From a pipe. In New York, they just pipe natural gas to everybody's house. That's where the gas comes to power our stoves, to power our heat, to power our water heaters, to power our clothes dryers. It's just piped to us. We have a water pipe. We have an electric line. Some of us still have a phone line or a cable line, and we have a gas line that comes into the house. And we have a gas meter, and every month we get a bill. It comes on the same physical paper bill as our electricity, because it's our power company provides both electricity and natural gas. So in this part of New York. In other parts of the country, there's two separate companies. But for New York City, it's Con Edison, Consolidated Edison. And you have the bill, one bill, with electricity use and gas use. I talked about the line. Yeah. No one says petrol in the real world. I thought they did in Europe, not here in the United States. Kapla, Eastland, Burkholder. Miss Londell got Wordle in 3. Very cool. Eastland says little money here, but every trip to the store to stock up, I buy a gridless item preparing for a tornado or a zombie apocalypse. That's a good bet. Kronos asked, does Mama Pray have a tail? Oh, pray. What was that? Doesn't. Nothing that you can think of right now, Kronos. Eastland says it was at Walmart today. Sadly, they did not have alligator and pork sausage. I would not have thought Walmart to sell such items. Professor Branding Specs is Bird of Prey, stating that I now know what is wrong with you was worth stating it twice. Kronos wants to know what alligator tastes like. You just have to find out. Yes, the British can make gas, Kronos. Professor Brainy Specs says, the Random Menace, we miss hearing your voice on a question of Trek. Yes. Bird is busy, says Kronos. There was a lot of chat today. A lot of chat. Mr. Lundell thinks telekinesis is poppycock. No, Mr. Lundell, think of it this way, and I'm sure you believe in free will. So right now, you decide you want to play with your bat'leth. You have a bat'leth hanging up behind you, and you walk over to your bat'leth, you pick it up, you do a couple of bat'leth moves, and you put it back up on the wall. Okay? So you chose to do that. So now your brain has to store your memory of playing with the bat'leth. Well, how does your brain store that? We really don't know for sure. But obviously, the brain has to either create or alter some of the matter that's already in the brain so that it can save this memory. Okay, whether it's adjusting a protein or moving a molecule or adding, like I said, adding a subatomic particle to an existing particle. Whatever it's doing, it is physically manipulating physical matter to create a memory in your brain. So on some level, your brain is literally is literally altering matter. I doubt it creates it. It probably just edits it in some way. So yes, it might be a tiniest bit of telekinesis. It doesn't mean that you can bend a spoon from across the room, but it does mean on at least the subatomic level or atomic level, you can make a change. And once you accept that, well then, who knows how far or how much it could go under the right circumstances. Chrono says, I can use my brain to move things. Maybe. Have you tried? Stanley says, sometimes if I think loud enough, my girlfriend would conjure me a cold beer. Eastland Burkholder says, how cruel of Walmart to offer me sausage twice on 2 separate days, then deprive me of my sausage and pork sausage after that. Walmart is a cruel, cruel mistress. The Random Menace is the Professor Braining Specs. I am watching the show with my friend in our man cave. The computer there is weird and connected to a projector. The Wi-Fi mobile broadband signal sucks there. And Kronos likes Polish sausage. And JP says, I'm sure you do, Kronos. Hillshire Farm, says Kronos. Kronos says, give me stream. Stanley says it's cheap to do in floor radiated heating before the floor is finished. That's true. But I'm not saying a floor inside. I'm talking about outdoor. Dr. Alex says, kapla, kapla, Dr. Alex. Glad you could make it, sir. JP says, and then with no salt on the streets in winter, our cars would last 10 times longer. Absolutely. Oh, salt is terrible for cars. And the streets, too. The salt is destroying the streets. It's destroying our cars. Stanley says maybe the induction electric. That's another thing. Stanley says gas stoves aren't instant heat. Well, the fire is hot instantly, but then it has to heat the metal. So yeah, it's not. JP says induction is scary as fuck. Yeah, I'm not saying I would do induction, but I understand. Captain Phantom Nerd says no professional chef says electric are superior. I disagree, Captain. I disagree. The Random Menace says induction is superior in speed and safety to gas. Well, what happens if you're wearing a ring that's inductive? That's what's always worried me. Like, what if your ring is of a material that would heat up? I don't wear rings for reasons like that, but that bothers me. Stanley's is just applying heat to a combustible material. Takes a while to actually ignite. Kronos thinks AOC is a C something, something, something. Yeah. The random menaces, but indeed for USA with a mere 220 for stoves, I would stick to gas. Murder Hornet returns is in the house. Kapla Murder Hornet. Hashtag kick Kronos. No. Kronos don't hate kitchens. Wow. We are way behind. What does McDonald's use? Asked Stan Ben. That's a good question. Bird is popular today. Why are so many people asking questions? Hashtag hail on Karoga. Thank you, Captain. Remember, if you need your question answered, hashtag, not hashtag, at BirdoPray5, so I get to see the question. Stanley says, we have natural gas pipe to homes here too. Just thought you wouldn't want a completely self-contained, just thought you'd want a completely self-contained diesel generator in case the piped-in gas shuts down. Stanley, if the piped-in gas shuts down, then the diesel probably will be impossible to buy anyway. And since we have no way of going to the gas station to get more diesel, it really wouldn't be of much use to have a diesel generator. Jedi Bill says, Kapla, I have gas here and hope I never blow myself up. I hope you don't blow yourself up either, Jedi Bill. Chrono says, Mama Prey is just timid. No, she's tired. The Random Menace says, when did you use the last time the word frock? I said, Random Menace, I had no idea what frock meant. By the way, for people who use Wordle, that was the word. I have no idea what frock meant. I was just playing with letters and I got it because I had already gotten the F, the R, and the O. So it was just the last two letters. So I tried frown, I tried a couple other words, and then I just randomly got frock on the 5th try. It's a dress, apparently. I didn't know. Yeah, frock is a type of dress. Bird is getting deep. Yitza Lemons, his bird is spending too much time in the underground. He's starting to sound like LDG. No, I've long thought about this. Okay, the mind over matter kind of thing, the human brain. Human brain has to be able to manipulate. The human brain has to be able to manipulate matter on some level if you believe in free will. That's just the way it is. The Random Menace can move his body with just a thought. Yeah. Rub it in, Random Menace. Rub it in.
I was going to say, can you move your body with just a thought?
Diesel generators only last 16 to 20 hours. Yeah, you've got to continuously refuel. Diesel.
Yeah.
We had diesel generators at work. So, speaking of at work, that is indeed where the indeed about what I was going to talk about with Martin Luther King Day, because that's why I always remember, take special note of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because it was a very special day because of my job, my 10-year career with the Sidney Frank Importing Company, And I'll talk about that in just a minute. I've got to do a little, you know what I got to do. I'll be right back.
If we lived in a world where all women were the same, they'd need only one shampoo. Clairol introduces 7 shampoos for the real world, where all women are different. Clairol Essence shampoos, each with its own natural botanical. Aloe Essence for extra body. Chamomile Essence for beautiful highlights. Ginseng Essence for conditioning. 7 Clairol Essence shampoos that make your difference beautiful. Clairol Essence shampoos.
This week, Sears teams up velour and corduroy for a sporty look at a winning price. First, corduroy pants, a super value at only $8.99. The Fit Super, too, and you save $5. Snuggle into a rich velour top for just $12.99. The luxury of velour in a soft knit blend, and you save $5. The pants in assorted colors, the tops in crew V and boat neck. Hurry, this sale ends Saturday at Sears, where America shops for value.
Kodak introduces the extraordinary Kodamatic Trim Print Instant Color Film. Unlike the ordinary instant print, the extraordinary trim print lets you lift off the image to capture the color just the way you like it. And now look how slim I am. I slip easily into places the ordinary bulky instant doesn't fit. So you can keep me in style here in your album with your regular pictures. You can trim me, watch it, and I'm so thin you can put me where you couldn't put an ordinary instant picture. You can show me off. You can do all kinds of things with me that you can't do with an ordinary instant picture. Here I am, with the new Kodamatic Trim Print Instant Color Film.
Anyone can do extraordinary things, but he didn't tell you Trim Print is only for Kodamatic instant cameras.
You didn't tell me it's only from Kodak.
What?
You didn't tell him it was only from Kodak.
Extraordinary.
Thank you. Trim Print, the extraordinary new instant color film from Kodak.
Get a little closer. Now don't be shy. You can get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry.
Only Arid has a patent on this formula that fights wetness. No leading deodorant spray stops odor better. And now Arid has a new baby fresh scent. It smells,
Get a little closer with the baby fresh scent of Arid Extra Dry.
Arid fights wetness and odor, now in a new baby fresh scent.
Do it up, feeling, do it up.
Two great names in jeans do it up in style. With an exciting fall collection of denim and corduroy jeans in a rainbow of colors, Gloria Vanderbilt by Mershani and The Gap bring you the fit that stops traffic wherever you go.
Fall into the Gap.
Have a Gloria Vanderbilt fit at The Gap.
Hello world, we're back. Sorry about that. I needed to make an adjustment and a deposit. And I have. Okay. So today's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I have a ton of respect, obviously, for Mr. King. He died before I was born, but, we learned about him, and Dr. King. Dr. King. No disrespect was meant. Anyway, Dr. King, visionary, and his tactics, generally peaceful, and his vision, his hope, his dream of, I mean, it can't be, to this day, I've never heard anyone say it better, that you hope for the day when people get judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And I would add to that, or their gender, or their sexual preference, or any other thing, national origin, or any other thing that we can use to divide ourselves. Okay? Or favorite basketball team, or favorite sport, or favorite type of car. Okay? Anything even ridiculous, however trivial, right? Whether they like their toilet paper over or under, which side of an egg they're crack, if they eat meat or don't, whatever it is. Okay, he stopped with the color of their skin, but it just goes on and on and on. I think that's very much the essence also of what it means, to be a member of the United Federation of Planets. And I don't mean this as a joke, because we all have heard the story many a times of how Dr. King is literally responsible for keeping Uhura on the show. Nichelle Nichols was going to leave Star Trek after one season because she didn't really think she was doing much. And she felt she would have a better career if she went back to, I believe it was Broadway, but to acting in plays. And Dr. King says, no, you have to be there. You have, just your presence on the bridge means so much to the civil rights movement. Okay, America has to see you there. And she agreed. She Dr. King was an inspiration to her as well. She looked up to him. And when your hero tells you, no, you've got to do something or not do something, you listen. And she did. And her staying changed the course of history and changed probably the course of the lives of millions of women, and probably millions of women of color. That's the correct statement, I assume, these days as well. So I don't feel bad talking about Dr. King and Star Trek and the ideals of Star Trek in the same sentence, because he was very much a Trekkie. And Star Trek influenced him, and he influenced Star Trek. And so Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a big day for any Trekkie. It should be. We should all look forward to it. We should all pay our respects to it. Now, we all also have to admit that Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., was a man. He wasn't a god. He wasn't a saint. He wasn't perfect. He had some failings. And the day is going to come one day when the FBI files on him are going to be released. Now, remember, in 1968, was it that I think it was the late 60s that he got murdered. Maybe it was the 70s. I'm honestly not sure. But, I mean, yeah, when he died, what he had probably done would have been shocking to America, even though it happens every day to millions of people, married people. It would have been shocking. Hell, in 1996, what Bill Clinton did was shocking enough to millions of Americans that, I am confident that when the FBI files get released on Dr. King, we're just gonna like, what? That was it? Like, why did they even, redact this? Why didn't they release this at the time? So I don't think he was that bad a dude. I think he probably had some, probably failed to keep his marriage vows sacred. And I'm sure he felt bad. I'm sure he asked for forgiveness, and probably if religion, if God is real, and if it is anything like what we're taught, I would imagine that he probably was given forgiveness for his sins. So to me, he was just a hell of a guy. That said, I always enjoyed Martin Luther King Jr. Day because it was one of the 10 or so paid holidays that we were supposed to get off at the Sidney Frank Importing Company. And it was the beginning of the year. It was the first paid holiday of the year, mid-January. And, it was good. But the thing is, for mid-January in New York, it's a shitty day to have off. It's cold. It's often rainy or snowy. It's the middle of January. You can't really go anywhere and do anything fun. For somebody like me, we like to drive, you like to hike, don't get me wrong, I like the winter. I did like driving in the snow, but the chances of a snowfall on Martin Luther King Day were slim. More than likely, it was just shitty ice, and it was no fun to go or do anything. So I never liked it. It was like an ill-timed holiday for me. But thankfully, at my job, and I don't know how or why I, of all people, got into it, but my job would once a year, we would have an annual sales meeting. And for the first 7 or 8 years, that sales meeting was always the week of Martin Luther King Day. And so, despite it being a paid holiday, I was expected to work. I was asked to work, really. So I would go in. Now, it wasn't a day where I have to go into the office. It was a day where I had to go to an all expenses paid hotel. In fact, we were there for an entire week. And often this was a beautiful hotel in White Plains, New York. some Marriott, but it was set in the woods. It was a sprawling, beautiful, sprawling hotel. It would be so cold, so icy. Almost every year there was snow and ice. You'd get there. Now the walk from the front desk to where the rooms start was literally like a 10-minute walk. You had to walk down these long hallways that were just covered in glass. You had to cross over a bridge. The hotel was built over a stream, and there was you had to cross a bridge in the hotel to get from the front desk to the rooms are on the other side of this stream. It was crazy. It was so cold out. Even as you crossed this indoor, fully furnished bridge, you could just feel the cold. Despite the windows being sealed, there were drafts, and you're looking out over ice and a frozen stream below, and you're cold just walking across. Or you could get in your car and drive. Even the drive to where the rooms were was like a 5-minute drive, because I mean, it's not like any other hotel. I don't think I've ever been at another hotel where the distance from okay, I've been at hotels that have villas, and now those villas are not connected to the main hotel. I get that. Okay, yeah, those can have a drive and a distance. But I'd never been in a hotel where it was the same physical building, or you could connect between two buildings. You're meant to walk out. I've never been in a hotel where it took so long to get from the front desk to the first closest hotel room. Like it was a minimum like maybe a 7-minute walk, or a 4.5-minute drive, which was crazy because you're driving. Okay, you can't drive at 40 miles an hour. You're driving at maybe 5 or 10, but I mean, it's a crazy amount of distance you had to travel to get there. And then once you set up, so Monday would be the setup for the sales meeting that would then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so the point being, I was in this beautiful hotel. Granted, I was working like a dog. I mean, my title was, well, when I started, was special projects and product development engineer. And by the time I had gotten sick and left, it was director of technology and engineering. And regardless of the title, though, I would give everything I had. And many a years, come January, my back would be out. I'd be in terrible pain, but I would still so worth it because it was just so fun. I mean, this is a liquor company having its sales meeting, and we'd bring in all of our employees from across the country to White Plains for a full week. And not only our liquor salespeople, but also our team of professional models, we called the Jaegerettes, although they did advertise all of our brands, not just Jägermeister, who were models, paid models, 99% of them women, and a small number gay men for the Jaeger Dude program, which was limited to a couple of key neighborhoods in New York and San Francisco. It was awesome. It was just so awesome. And the unfortunate of working on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day meant they gave us the day back as a floating holiday. So it was like an extra vacation day. So I would work Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I do mean work in quotes, because yes, it was often physical labor, like literally putting up equipment. And I mean, we would turn the ballroom of the hotel into ridiculously beautiful setups, each year outdoing the year before. I mean, when we started, I would get a camera and set it up so people at the office could like teleconference in and watch what was going on. And you'd get the standard podium, and you'd get, you had a couple of lights and whatever. And by the end, I mean, by the stuff we were doing, by my final year, we had green screens and full color boards all around the room, artwork that was blown up to, twice the size of a person, 10 feet wide and 8 feet tall, and a ribbon of stuff around the room. We had not one light, not two lights, dozens of spotlights, everything remote controlled. We had from one shitty Wi-Fi to bringing in our own God damn. At one point, for back when a T1 connection was a lot of bandwidth, we had our own T1 connection just for this week. And I mean, I'd be one setting up many of the computers. We had other people too, but yeah, it was amazing. And then we'd all be in the hotel, and then for dinner, we rarely ate dinner in the hotel. They would get us 2 or 3, usually 3, giant, like Academy buses that each fit 50 plus people. And though, these were like nice buses with seats that were 2 by 2 and much nicer than your coach airline seat. And we'd all get in the bus with all the alcohol we wanted, because you were allowed to have the alcohol as long as you didn't go in front of the line towards the driver, and that was it. I mean, like, you just stay back. As long as you stayed behind that line, you could do any effing thing you wanted. And Jesus Christ, people were doing it. And they would take us all around, sometimes into Manhattan. We went to steakhouses in Manhattan. We couldn't get Billy Joel. Billy Joel wouldn't play it for us because apparently he couldn't be around that alcohol. Apparently he had a drinking problem. I didn't know about it, but we tried so hard to get Billy Joel. Billy Joel was the one person we couldn't get. We had a guy who sounded as good as Billy Joel, looked like Billy Joel, but wasn't Billy Joel. Singing and playing the piano and doing live music. at a steakhouse in Manhattan that probably, the steaks were probably $150 a steak at the time. God knows what they'd be now. Went to restaurants, Italian restaurants, steak restaurants, private places, little hole in the wall places. They packed us in so tight. Like I knew, I was like, there is no way we're legally, they have the maximum, the fire department sets the maximum occupancy. I knew I didn't even look. I was like, there is no way we're double the maximum occupancy. There's no way we're legal. But everything was delicious for the most part. And then we'd take the buses back to the hotel. And then every night we'd go to the hotel bar and we'd stay up until they forced everybody to go home. Finally, after a couple of years, they're like, well, there's too many people at the bar. So then we decided to get a game room. So we ordered another room from the hotel that they gave us, and we filled it up with like party games, with foosball and darts. The darts only lasted 1 year. After that, we went to electronic darts because, yeah, we had problems with the metal darts. We went to electronic darts, but either way, it was a learning experience. Foosball, the air hockey, billiards tables. We didn't have skee ball. We had the basketball game. You throw the basketball. I mean, we had a whole bunch of video games. It was like a fucking the richest kids birthday party. Crazy stuff. And we had drink service because we knew nobody would go to the place if they couldn't get drinks. So we had a waitress taking drink orders constantly, like you would be in a casino, constantly coming back and forth with drinks for people who wanted it, just so that we didn't have everybody in the bar, because the bar really couldn't take that many people in it. So, I mean, for me, it was like, oh, shit, I'm just going to stay in the fucking game room all night. I mean, dancing. And then, one night we and I've told the story, but one night we went, we did bowling. Instead of going to a fancy restaurant, they took us to a fancy bowling alley. Fancy, meaning they had, night bowling, which I guess is a thing, but I didn't know it was at the time. And we were all bowling and we're all drinking, and that was the night that my good friend at work was unfortunately taking painkillers and didn't know enough to not mix painkillers with alcohol. And we got back to the hotel and I got a call on my phone. And I was like, oh, his name was, well, doesn't matter what his name was, but his phone was calling me. I was looking for him and I pick it up and it's not the guy, it's somebody else. I was like, who's this? He's like, yo, your guy is here, man. I'm like, who is this? He's like, this is so-and-so from the bowling alley. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, your guy, he's here. You left your guy here. I'm like, who is this? I thought they were joking with me. He kind of sounded like one of our reps from like Alabama or something. I was like, is that you, Mike? And he's like, no, dude, your guy is here. What's your name? And then I hear his voice like muffled. I was like, holy shit. Like, where is he? Like, he's at the bowling alley. I'm like, we left the bowling alley like 45 minutes ago. And he's like, yeah, we found him in the bathroom stall. We were about to lock up. You got to come get him. And thankfully, our chief of security was the one guy paid not to drink, just in case. So I talked to him, and he drove me in his car back to the bowling alley. Me and him got him back to the hotel. He was throwing up in the bowling alley. He was throwing up in the car. He was throwing up back at the hotel. I felt really bad, but he said he'd be okay. So we got him in his room, put a garbage can near him so if he needed it. And honestly, I was only 50-50, thinking I might see him the next day if he would be there in the morning. But to my surprise, he was. He really didn't remember most of the night. And I think that's probably for the best. Yes, Mama Frey.
I do have a tale.
Oh,
You have time.
yeah, I've got time, sure. So Mama Frey has a tale. So anyway, that is what Martin Luther King Jr. Day means to me. I know it's not perhaps what Dr. King intended it to mean, but it reminds me of one of the happiest times of my life. And I thank him. I thank him. He will never know. He had no idea that when he was talking about justice and equality for all, that he would go on to make a young Bird O' Prey 5 a very, very happy person on his birthday. Kronos forgives me, Professor. Brainy Specs is Bird of Prey. Really, New Year's Day should have been the first holiday of the year for you. Oh, God damn it, Professor. Technically, I guess that's true. Professor says Bird of Prey is lost in the Karoga zone. Yeah. Captain Phantom Nurse says Kronos, one day Bird of Prey will be finished. I wish I had his ability to ramble on forever. I would stream more if I could. Professor says, Bird, did you have Space Invaders? I'm sure we did. We had lots of classic games. We had Pac-Man. We had Centipede, Dig Dug. I'm sure we had Space Invaders. Not every year, but I'm sure some years. And Professor says, do you remember that today is the 28th anniversary of the premiere of Star Trek Voyager? I did not, Professor. I did not. So, Mama Prey.
Yes.
You would like to tell a tale? The camera is off, Mama Prey. Okay. Corona says that was a nice story, Prey.
Hi guys, Mama Pray back again. Actually, when Kronos first asked did I have a tail, I really wasn't thinking about what today was. I mean, I knew what it was earlier in the day, but come on, you know, I'm old. I forget things quickly. But My story is about the night that Martin Luther King got shot and killed. First-hand info, I was 17 years old. Now, most of you know that I had a very rocky relationship with my stepmother. So at this point in time, I actually had left school and was working on Wall Street and living with my sister, her husband, and children. My father was still alive, thank God. And I was working late that night in a brokerage house on Wall Street. My stepmother worked a couple of blocks away, but at this point in time, I hadn't seen her in about 3 months. I honestly forget why I left, the exact reason, but we had an argument, a blow up. She probably hit me, and I had it. So anyway, I was working late in the office, and the ticket tape. Now, that's the way we got our information. The ticket tape machine started click, 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 click. And it wasn't directly in my office, but an office right nearby. And whoever was left in the company, went running over because it usually didn't go on like at this time of night. And we got the news through that Martin Luther King had been shot and died. And riots, then reports of riots. They shut down the subways. You could not get out of Manhattan by subway. Now, Wall Street is lower Manhattan. Technically, we were closest to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, but you couldn't walk through the tunnel. You could walk over the Manhattan Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge, but I got a phone call at the office from my father, and he said, don't even attempt to try to get home. Go meet your stepmother at so-and-so bar on the corner of Church Street and whatever, and as soon as I can get through this traffic and these riots, I will be there to pick you up. Don't leave that building. Well, that's what I did. But the reports we were getting was that Harlem was on fire, downtown Brooklyn was being looted, and there was a fire in the big departments, one of the big department stores, because downtown Brooklyn, Fulton Street, was all department stores. We were terrified. We really didn't know, what was happening and where to go. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night that my father showed up. Of course, in these hours in between, myself and my stepmother started speaking again. And of course, she promised, she'd be different and blah, 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 blah. And so I moved back home. That didn't last too long anyway. But the point was, I remember the fear because we had no idea what was happening. Lights were going off. The subway wasn't running. People just didn't know where to go. There were just droves of people walking up and down blocks. It was really frightening and sad, of course. But the frightening part was you didn't know what to do or what was going to happen next. I did watch the news. I was well aware of his marches and his speeches before he passed. And come on, living in New York, we were not a segregated area. I was from a very early age. People of all backgrounds, not just white and black and brown. You know, the area was integrated then. And honestly, we were taught the melting pot, that New York City was the melting pot. People from all over brought their cultures, brought their experiences, their backgrounds, but all melted in to become Americans. Everybody picked up something from everybody else. And you know what? Today, I still believe that was the best way. Everybody had different holidays and different ways of doing things, but nobody judged each other. Today, it's just way too much. They have to push diversity training. Why? It should be natural. But anyway, I'll shut up because I'll give this back to Bird, and it was a sad night. That's what I've got to say. Everybody have a great night. And Kronos, this story was mainly aimed at you because you asked for it. Night all.
Thank you, Mama Bray. Bruno says, I love Mama Bray.
Aw, thanks.
And Samir says, thank you. Have a great night. You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay, guys. Well, I guess it's time to check out Dear Bop before it gets too late. Obviously, if you have a question that you need Dear Bop to answer, you go to bertopray5.com and you can click on the link to enter a Dear Bop. No. Okay. Kronos says that woke him up. Good for you, Kronos. Dear Bop, Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Old commercial.
Old commercial. Yeah, I do believe I've heard that before. I'll go find me some Winstons. Dear Bop, I've been on videos and noticed people started posting this. Don't know what it means. What chain is going on and who started this? The Waffle House has found a new host. Okay, so apparently somebody posted some fight on Waffle House. A fight occurred at a Waffle House recently, and it blew up all over social media. Apparently, customers or would-be customers began fighting with the staff. The staff fought back. Chairs were thrown. Impressive, actually, that what I saw, the video I saw, the Waffle House staff did an impressive job of dodging the chairs being thrown at them. But I don't know. Basically, apparently, there is a giant rabbit hole of videos. If you search for a Waffle House fights that it's almost like I had no idea that Waffle House was such a violent place. There is no shortage of videos of people fighting at Waffle Houses, either amongst themselves, customer versus customer, or customer versus Waffle House employees. Generally, the fights happen at night when there's very little Waffle House employees on staff. I mean, Waffle House might have as few as 2 people in a Waffle House at night, 3, 4. And, you know, you could have 8, 10 people come in and they can cause quite a ruckus. And people can and will get hurt. God knows. It is a very, very sad thing. And it's getting so popular on social media. I fear that it's causing more incidents just by virtue of it existing. So I don't know if that's exactly what they tried to remove or what they're trying to stop from perpetuating itself. But I did get to see some of it this past weekend, and my entire outlook for the human race dropped some, especially for Americans, seeing what was out there and what was happening. And it wasn't an isolated incident. This was happening over and over and over again. It's a very sad situation. Well, I don't know if it's exactly what they meant, but I suspect that it is. Dear Bob, what is the best part of New York? The Adirondacks, upstate New York, not New York City. Okay? As far away from the cities as you can get. That also includes Buffalo, right? You want to get far away from Buffalo and far away from New York City, so you meet and you get to the Adirondack Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful area of New York. If you mean the best area of New York City, there is none. The part as you leave. Dear Bob, you are good night. Dear Bob, a link to Dr. Phlox on Instagram. Interview with Johns Billingsley on the joy of Phlox, sexuality on Star Trek Enterprise, and why the show won't be back. Okay. Another Instagram link. Scott Bakula explains how Enterprise could have run 7 seasons, says he's open to returning to Star Trek. Okay. It's not going to 7 seasons. Last one. Please give your thoughts on how it will be done. Anson Mount Lower Decks crossover isn't craziest episode in Strange New Worlds Season 2. I really don't know how it'll be done. I'm guessing the actors who voice Boimler and Mariner will just appear in real life. I mean, they're basically drawn to look like their characters for the, general, that they'll just appear in real life on Strange New Worlds, playing, their characters. That's my guess. I haven't looked into details because I really don't care because Strange New Worlds sucks. And I'll watch it, but I don't expect it to be good. And I certainly don't consider it canon. So, dear Bob, Terryton smokers would rather fight than switch. Mom O'Fray knew that.
And they were the most horrible.
They were,
Horrible.
Mom O'Fray says they were the most horrible, horrible cigarettes.
My stepmother smoked.
Her stepmom smoked them. And dear Bob, I'd walk a mile for a camel. Somebody out there has a serious tobacco addiction. Kronos asked Random Menace, can you milk blueberries? Wow.
Okay.
Samir Lowles.
I do.
Dan Ben says Archer was supposed to be the very first launch of the USS Enterprise, 1701. Okay. Dear Bob, Rice Aroni, the San Francisco treat. Hey, I'm a big fan, or at least I was a big fan of Rice Aroni, but now it's way too high in sodium.
No.
Dear Bob, be glad that you are free to change your mind, free to go most anywhere, anytime. Be glad you are free. There's a man who's not. Be glad for what you had, what you've got. Be glad for what you've got. Well, I'm glad for what I have, but I'm really not free to go anywhere, anytime. That's just the physical reality of the situation. Dear Bob, so the other day I went on a huge rant about Velma, and I forgot to give my sister a heads up because my nephew listens to my channel now, and she's very pissed at me. How long should I stay away from her house to avoid getting a frying pan upside the head? I think you better not go back. If you do go back, you better be wearing a helmet. Sisters have a way of remembering things. I would, if it was Sis O'Fray, I would definitely be wearing a helmet. Dear Bob, remember when people used to get their omelets scrambled? Petridge Farm remembers. That's Pepperidge. No, that you spelt Petridge Farm. And nobody gets their omelets scrambled. It doesn't even make any sense. Dear Bob, oh no, a trolley. It's headed toward a dying animal that was injured by the last person who took the test. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, but it would just kill LDG, Project Prometheus. But more importantly, it would make the people on the trolley get home 30 minutes earlier, just in time to make it to another Bird of Prey live stream. What do you do? 99% choose to save the dying animal. Or LTG. Well, I'm sorry, but people have to come on time for bed life. Imagine if I did bed life and nobody showed up. Mom O'Fray would cry. Dear Bob, I just bought a Nintendo GameCube from a local garage sale. but it doesn't have any controllers. Is there any way to use modern controllers on it? I seem to remember it having a wireless controller back in the day. You know, I just saw a video from Rock Solid Productions where he ordered this ridiculous custom circuit board that you had to open the system, take out an existing part, use a whole bunch of tools, put this new piece in, I can wire an antenna into it. By the time he was done, it was, I would say it was worthless. I would just take the GameCube and punt it as far as you could and buy a modern system. Or if you really want to play GameCube games, use an emulator. But if you really, 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 really want to use your actual GameCube, then check out Rock Solid Productions, ROX. Rock Solid. ROXOLID Productions on YouTube, and check out his latest video. Dear Bob, you claim you are a director of technology and engineering. You work like a dog. Does Sassy agree? Because she naps a lot and doesn't work very hard. Sassy works like a privileged human. That's the thing. While Sassy is a dog, she has the life of a privileged human. Dear Bob, you went to White Plains. That's so racist. Yeah, it's become a more diverse community, but it's still called White Plains. Dear Bob, do you believe in aliens? And if you do, would you like to meet one? I do believe that there is life out there that's not from Earth. And as for meeting one, honestly, I don't know that I would. Like I would probably be scared shitless. And that means I would. Why does scared shitless mean you would poop your pants? Yeah, I'd be scared. Aliens scare me. Now, if they could cure me, then yeah, I guess I would certainly like to meet one. But alone at night on a country road, no, I wouldn't want to meet them like that. I wouldn't want them to, I wouldn't want to meet them if I was on a table about to be probed. But if I was, you know, in my house and, you know, a saucer landed in the middle of the street and a little 3-foot tall gray guy came out, looked around and knocked on the door and said, hey, are you Bird O' Prey 5? I guess I'd have Mama Prey let him in. Dear Bob, I don't, is that Latin? I think that's Latin. I hesitate to say it because God knows what I could be saying. Translate. You can't type trans into Google anymore and expect that it's going to be translate. Enter text. It's not Italian, detect language. Latin, son of a dog, eat my shorts. What a joke. So it is Latin. Felis canis, Virshir bracious mice, ulum blenum. Dear Bop, with all the fights happening at Waffle House, is it wrong to point out that Michael J. Crawford used to work there? Did he used to work there? I thought he said that he would work there. Yeah, I guess he did. I guess he did. He said that he would have been working at a Waffle House, 3 or 4 years ago if he didn't have a YouTube channel. But I think he did say in the past he did work at Waffle House. Resolute Germ says, we believe in aliens. We've all met LDG. Gary Katzer says, let your voices be heard. At youtube.com/rocksolidcommunity. All the best. So there's the link. I will copy the link, and there is the link to Rock Solid YouTube channel. Please check it out. And dear Bob, would you like to come to Plovdiv, Bulgaria? I mean, honestly, if I could walk, I probably would. I probably would. I mean, just for a day, if nothing else. Do you guys have a McDonald's in Plovdiv, Bulgaria? If there's a McDonald's, I'll be okay. That's generally how I decide if I'm okay. Unfortunately, in current conditions, travel is just not possible. Dear Bop, do you think your desires are a function of free will or determinism? I think what I desire is based on what's already happened in the past. Even those thoughts right now I have, the desire to have them are based on past events. Well, if you believe that, then you believe you have no free will. And if you have no free will, then there's really no point in living, is there? There's no point in doing anything, because why? Because if you stop doing anything, obviously that was always what was supposed to happen to begin with. I can't live under that assumption. That's absurd. So if you don't understand that you have free will, then I feel bad for you. Dear Bob, would you accept if Elon Musk offered you his Neuralink so you could walk? If it would really let me walk, yeah, I would do it. Now, if that means walk like a person, now if it means I have to still have crutches, zip tied to my arms, Velcroed to my arms, and I have to have a fucking backpack with a gyroscope on it, and have to be clipped into some kind of exoskeleton, then no, that's not walking. I'm sorry. Yitza Lemon says, what if they were Nordic aliens where the women are hot and tall and busty? Then yes, of course I would like to meet the aliens. The Chrono says, Yitzi has an imagination. The Random Menace says, in all honesty, Bird, going to Bulgaria and not trying their food, just stay in New York City. I didn't say that I wouldn't try their food. I just want to make sure they've got a McDonald's just in case I don't like their food. Okay, and also having a McDonald's means to me that you also have, some minimum hygiene standards, some minimum quality standards. You can't put You can't put a McDonald's on a desert island with no sewers, right? You can't put a McDonald's on an island with no fresh water. You can't put a McDonald's somewhere where there's no Coca-Cola. So, yeah, I need a McDonald's. That's it's like a class 1 civilization. Okay, a class 1 civilization to me is a civilization that has progressed to the point of having McDonald's. A class 2 civilization is one that's progressed to the point of having TGI Fridays. And a level 3 civilization has progressed to having a Ruth's Chris steakhouse. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, two more. Gary Kaza says, so you shared the link and didn't open up to see what I was asking. What were you asking? Dear Bob, you were very young to remember how you developed a sense of logic. When you were very young, do you remember how you developed a sense of logic? No. No, I don't. Let's see. Let's go to Rock Solid's website. Would you like it if I streamed? Oh, Rock Solid put up a poll. Would you like it if I streamed a little bit tonight? Yes, maybe, not really, and just go away. We'll like his poll, and of course we'll click yes. So 43% of people say yes, they want Rock Solid to stream a little bit. 17% say maybe, 9% say not really, and 30% say go away. So 39% basically say no or not really, and 43 say yes. That's damn close to 50-50 with 23 votes. That's as close as a national election. I had no idea you wanted me to vote in a poll. Sorry. Look at the baby beagle puppy. And again, another Dear Bob. This will be the final Dear Bob for today. Dear Bob, I have statistics regarding the number of McDonald's in Bulgaria. Country, Bulgaria, number of restaurants, 35. And they will open more too soon. They will open more too. Awesome. So now Bulgaria, Google. Bulgaria. Bulgaria has now passed my basic test, basic industrialization test. So where exactly is Bulgaria? Next to Greece, to the right of Serbia, south of Romania, bordering Turkey and the Black Sea. Yeah, I'll be honest, not my first choice in Eastern Europe. That would, of course, be Slovakia. That's Slovenia. Slovakia, because, well, we know the train is coming to Bratislava very soon. The train is coming soon. But hey, 35 McDonald's in Bulgaria, not a bad place. Not a bad place. Unfortunately, they seem to be using an alphabet, which I cannot pronounce in any way whatsoever. With that, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. And I think we'll call it a stream. Crow says, where is Karoga? Karoga is on the other side of the world, Kronos. Karoga, Greater Karoga is in the New York Adirondack region, right around here. But Karoga stretches down to New York City, and it stretches even across the nation and across the world because the sun never sets on Karoga. Yes, it's over, Kronos. You can leave now. Have a good night, all. Kapla, bird, out.